Hello, Internet.
Hello, Internet. It never waits for me.
Well, we'll say it.
You never wait for me.
Okay. Well, you got to
like paper on the ground, looking down. I'm like this. He's like, hello, Internet.
Who are you?
Lost.
I'm Dr. Paul.
I'm Diet Dr. Paul.
As you can tell by our warm weather attire, it's summer. Summertime. Summertime. And the living is easy. Fish are jumping. Cotton is high. Your daddy's rich. And your mama's good looking.
This is just weird at this point.
You are made of stupid.
You have no idea about that song. You're not a Gershwin fan.
Who?
Gershwin. George Gershwin.
No, never.
Porgy and Bess. An opera.
Now that you mention it, Porky and Bass.
Porgy, not Porky.
That's all, folks.
Where else are you going to go on YouTube where you see such rich and varied allusions to pop culture?
What's poppin', guys? Back with another 3 a.m. challenge. Today we got a freaking banger for you guys, J Nation. We actually ordered up a cursed mummy from the dark web.
Tell the folks out there, our massive audience, anybody new out there, what we're doing here now.
What are we doing today, or what are we doing?
Well, in general, just
we review movies.
Okay.
And talk about movies.
And what are we doing?
I usually say smart things, and he says stupid stuff.
Survey says.
So you think Gershwin is stupid stuff?
I have no clue what he's talking about.
I am going to buy you for the next. I'm going to buy you a Gershwin. Two disc set.
A Gershwin?
Porgy and Bess.
What do I cook on my Gershwin? Stainless steel Gershwin.
Like a George Foreman grill.
Seals in the fat, locks in the flavor.
The Bun Warmers heat rolls, biscuits, muffins.
Father and son talking about movies the same way you do with your friends or your family.
Just you try it. Oh, I'll try it. Just you try it. You'll feel it when I try it.
I have no idea what he's going to say, and he doesn't. We disagree a lot. Sometimes it falls along boomer and millennial generation lines.
Yes, I can definitely smell shite.
Today, it's summer, and we're talking about the most anticipated movies summer 2024.
Our most anticipated movies.
Yes, which is going to be...
We don't care what you're anticipating.
Well, and right now, it's June 10th, 2024, so there's some that have already sort of to come out.
You're probably going to be watching it on Thursday 10th.
What the hell did you just say?
Now, mark that down on your calendar. So this is... when I prepared for this, I just thought clearly that summertime used to be, before Steven Spielberg came along, summer was a dead time for movies. That you'd release your crap during summertime.
And then Jaws.
Yes. And next, and then so it's always been like this big summer tentpole movies. Moving into this summer, I don't see as much of that. And normally it's like, oh, these are the must-see movies.
Well, speaking of Jaws, are we going to see Jaws?
We are.
We're going to go see Jaws with a live orchestra playing the music.
And I think we need to film a quick hot take.
We will. That's why I was saying it now. And it's at the Charlotte, some fancy symphony. These tickets weren't cheap, man. It was pretty pricey for these 2 tickets. I bought some. I didn't get the front row stuff, but I splurged a little. I got us some nicer seats there.
I'll tell you, when you told me about this thing, I really did tear up because it's one of the nicest things you've ever done for me.
I just don't want to go by myself.
Well, or you had a date and they canceled on you.
People who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
But no, it's watching the movie Jaws with a live,
And it's like a big,
symphony.
The Charlotte Philharmonic. I don't know what they call it, but it's the nice one. It's the big one. So
yeah, I'm so pumped for this kind of thing. And see the movie again, just to see the movie on a big screen. But
I was going to watch it about a month ago, and I remembered, and I decided not to.
It's a waste of your life, Mark. Poisoning your body with that shite.
So this falls into the example of what we call the 7, and it's the top 7. I don't know his 7; he doesn't know mine. And we usually start at number 7, and we move up to the number 1 most anticipated or best or whatever it happens to be, depending on the list. So why don't you kick us off?
Well, first of all,
okay.
You were talking about summer movies, and I
Yes.
wanted to ask you, how excited are you as a whole for summer movies this year? Scale of 1 to 10.
That's hard to answer. In terms of what you typically think about summer movies, I'd say a 4.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of, there's some really interesting films that you normally wouldn't say are summer movies. I would say it's more like an 8.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, I
that's
think
where I
it's-
fell on is those movies.
I think there's a lot of the stuff that's going to end up being good is the under the radar stuff. And I think the stuff that you think of as like, ooh, summer movies, I don't think there's much to be excited about, to be honest.
It reminds me of Wonderfest. And those of you, maybe some of you are here because you watched some of our Wonderfest videos.
Well, we
If
did
not,
get some subscribers this week. So
Wonderfest is a hobby convention, scale modeling, resin, plastic, vinyl, primarily around horror, sci-fi, comic book kind of stuff. Louisville, Kentucky. It is amazing. We just got back from last week, and I watched a online review where they're saying the guy was saying that the dealers were up this year in terms of the amount of money that they made.
Mm-hmm.
But what was interesting is there wasn't a tent pole kit that was people typically time for Wonderfest to release that. And because there wasn't some of the big companies hadn't released some big product, then the smaller scale producers were able to do that. I think that's analogous to summer. I don't see as many tent pole movies that are out there, so the smaller films have a chance to sort of creep in. I think that's a good thing.
yeah, and I think the tentpole movies that we do see, I think that they've all been lukewarmly received or have the potential to be big flops. We see Kingdom of Planet of the Apes, Furiosa, well received critically, made nothing at the box office. Rebel Moon Part 2, stinker. Well, that's not a theater release, but it's just not been a good beginning to these big movies. The Watchers, we just went and saw that was somewhat underwhelming. So far the track record's not good, but I think I'm excited because I think stuff on this list.
Yeah, I think there are folks that aren't going to the theater because you're home watching Star Wars Acolyte. See that what I did there?
Cut in a clip of Spaceballs instead. Use the Schwartz, Luke. So well, any honorable mentions?
Yeah, I did.
So I one of them you might be surprised is not on my list at all because I've been talking about it quite a bit, but it's just all over the place, so I had to distance myself from it, and that's Deadpool and Wolverine. Not on my list.
Assume that would be your number one.
It was my number one earlier this year, my most anticipated movies for 2024, but it's over anticipated at this point. I'm just ready for it to come out. That and then Horizon and American Saga Parts 1 and 2 was on my honorable mentions.
I had Sing Sing, which we saw the previews with Coleman Domingo, a prison drama. And then I had a movie called Union, and it's with Mark Wahlberg and Halle Berry, J.K. Simmons, Jackie Earle Haley.
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, it's got an all-star cast, but in the end, I did have Hitman on there, but I watched Hitman.
And what'd you think?
I don't know that I liked it.
And people are raving about it.
I know. It's like, and Heather and I watched it, and I think it's a very disturbing film, and I want to get into this, but we could shoot. I mean, it's moral relativism, I think. It's like, you can do whatever you want, think whatever you want to be. You can, it's like there is no right or wrong. I think it's kind of a dangerous philosophical message, and that got in the way for me. But the performances, amazing. But that was on my list. So,
My Sharona.
well, what's your number 7?
It is a film called Sleep. It is a Korean horror comedy from director Jason Yu, which is an up-and-coming, about a young expectant wife who must figure out how to stop her husband's nightmarish sleepwalking habits. So it's this really interesting concept. You have a woman who's pregnant and her husband who's sleepwalking, and it sort of starts funny and silly enough, but starts to escalate from there. I believe it's already been released in Asia or Korea. It's got 6.5 on IMDb for a genre film that's really good. But it's at 91 and 81% on Rotten Tomatoes already. So releasing on July 8th. I'm excited about this one. It looks like right up my Parasite alley.
Well, and it goes back. Then this is not what you typically. If you tuned into this thinking, "Oh, it's going to be twisters and that kind of stuff," it's I'm less engaged in with this year with those kind of movies. These are more independent, more of sort of independent kind of.
I feel like I got a really good mixture on my list.
Yeah.
I do.
This you're surprising me because I thought you would just go comic book
No, I had
movie,
to go
sci-fi,
deep cut,
horror.
baby.
Okay, well,
Got a couple of good ones on here.
Okay, so he went to the B side. Right?
Yes, but I think this one will be come time the end of the year, and we're talking foreign films. This will be towards people's tops of their list. I think.
Good. All right, my number 7, and I'm just going to pull the Band-Aid right off. Megalopolis.
Megalopolis.
Yes, and we've been talking about Megalopolis.
I've never heard of this film that you're talking
Coppola's, which I said in an episode, the movies most anticipated for 2024. I made the prediction that this could go down as being the greatest movie ever made. And of course, there are people that have seen it that have said that's true, that it is the greatest movie ever made. And then there are other people that are saying that it is a steaming pile of
Donkey teeth.
Yeah, and it did not do as well as was predicted at Cannes Film Festival.
Oh, it finished dead last again.
Well, yes, but here's the thing, and why I went. Is because we've been here before.
Yes.
How many times has one of his film came out, and it's just he's notorious for you release it, you gotta sort of sit. It simmers, and then as things go, it becomes a cultural icon. We saw that with Apocalypse Now.
Did you know that who came up with Apocalypse Now?
I think I said something like this at one of our last episodes.
George Lucas came up with 3 concepts to start his career. Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and Apocalypse Now at the same time. And he went with Star Wars because that was the one that sounded most fun to him. So he sold the other projects, which I just thought was just an interesting. And Spielberg was who he gave
Indiana
Jones to. So
yeah, well, I have great hopes. I want to see this, and I want to see it on a 70 millimeter kind of.
Is there going to be one?
He's fought to try to get it into big screen 3D, that kind of stuff, IMAX. I want to see it, and I think I'm predicting already. My experience with him sometimes, first time I see a movie, is like, when I saw Bram Stoker's Dracula, I thought, but they age really well. And I'm expecting that my prediction for it to be thought of much higher, best film, I still holding out for that. But that's my number 7.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited to see that one. It's how it fared at Cannes is the reason why I didn't make my list or my honorable mentions. But I'll still be there day 1 to watch it. I'm excited. I'm actually excited to see what Shia LaBeouf does in this. It looks like he could be an interesting character. Maybe Adam Driver can redeem himself from 65 last year. You know what? If 65 came out this year, it wouldn't sniff the worst 7 movies, and it's only what? June?
Okay.
All right. Number 6. All right, this is a mouthful. Humanist vampire seeking consenting suicidal person. So when I saw the title card in the log,
that's the name of it.
That's the name of the movie. When I saw the log line for it, I was like, "Is this just a ripoff of Let the Right One In?" But it's not. It's a fresh-looking take on the vampire subgenre. It's a French-language horror comedy about a young vampire with a serious problem. She's too sensitive to kill. When her exasperated parents cut off her blood supply, Sasha's life is in jeopardy. Luckily, she meets Paul, a lonely teenager with suicidal tendencies, who is willing to give his life to save hers, but their friendly agreement soon becomes a nocturnal quest to fulfill Paul's last wishes before day breaks. It just sounds like an interesting, and I'm all about different horror films that take stuff and do something different, and so it just caught my ear, and I said, you know what, this looks interesting. I watched the trailer for it, and the story sounds sillier than it is. It's shot more like a dark comedy drama thriller. It's very seriously shot, but I think it could hit well.
You've had 2 films so far, and both of those, I would see those.
July 21st it comes out. It's already been released in France, 7.2 on IMDb, and an 87% on Rotten Tomatoes already.
Oui.
As stuff out their head and stuff it with bread. I don't know how Little Mermaid does. You should know it. Anyway,
well,
but that,
good.
yeah, it's a different one.
I love it. And I like the fact that it's different. It's not the same thing. Yeah. Speaking of just the opposite of different, and this is probably the most mainstream film on my list, And I
Alien Romulus.
No, and I went back and forth, and see that was one that's not on my.
I know it's
my
not on your list.
Yeah, is Beverly Hills Cop Axel F.
What the Axel F did you just say?
Yeah, I love those the first two movies, the first two films
with Balki Baltakamo.
Mm-hmm. What I like, I'm hopeful on this is, first of all, almost the entire original cast is there, living
That's
cast.
big. That's big.
But then they also added Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Kevin Bacon, and Paul Reisner. So you've got
That's like some serious weight there. Those are some big hitters in a good way.
Yes, and I think with Kevin Bacon, he's really become like, I don't know that I could mention a bad film that he's ever made.
Maybe there'll be some Bacon later on this list.
So I am very, very hopeful, and the downside to it, honestly, is Eddie Murphy, because he's also somebody that has just been less successful in my eyes. I love him. I remember that reading an interview once with that where he said that he wanted to be the Beatles of comedy. He wanted, and he really did. He was in the you talk about the classic like Richard Pryor kind of stuff. He really did own the 80s with comedy.
To me, and this may hurt your feelings, he to me is the Ken Griffey Jr. of comedy, in that he was the start to his career. There was not a better person, but then he pulled his hamstring when he got to Cincinnati, and he's not been the same. I'd say since the late 90s, he has been miss. And it's been that he's just picked slapstick stuff when he needs to get back into the slightly raucous, raunchy level of comedy that he used to when he did there's 2 or 3 stand-up specials that were like some of the best-selling stuff that's ever been produced. You just got to get back to that. But I agree with you that he's the least attractive thing for me. And I guarantee you, I didn't even look at this when I saw it because I had no desire to. But if I'd have known that Gordon Levitt and Kevin Bacon were a part of it, I may have at least gave it a second glance.
Yeah, I'll be there. Yamo be there.
Yamo be there. All right. Number 5. You may not want to see it, but boy, I do. And I didn't have it on the list, but then they showed the trailer at the Watchers and it made me excited again. And damn it, I don't know why, because I think it's going to suck. And it's Alien Romulus. 7th entry into the Alien franchise, because we don't count Alien versus Predator in this household.
Or 3.
Yeah. No, we do. From director, I liked Don't Breathe a little bit. I liked it from a directing standpoint, not so much from like a horror film perspective. The Evil Dead movie that he did was the 2013 one. I didn't particularly like that one. Kaylee Spaney from Civil War. It's supposed to be a prequel and a sequel. Comes out August 16th. I don't know that it's going to be very good, but I still want to see it.
You have hope. Yes.
I have hope. 1 in a million. So you're saying there's
the trailer's well done, but it doesn't say anything at all. If you were new to the whole franchise, you wouldn't know, where's it at? Is it future, past? Is it in space? Is it on Earth? Is it
you could have told me that it's from one of the first 2 Alien movies, and I would just believe you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't have high hopes.
Is there a lot of buzz about it?
I mean, as much as any other movie coming out this summer, I think that it's one that should probably be one of the 5 or 6 better sellers in the summer, but I don't know how well it'll do ratings wise.
Would you say that the most buzz right now is with the Wolverine?
Deadpool, Wolverine, or maybe Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice has been a big one, especially now that Wednesday has kind of helped capture that younger gothic Tim Burton-esque audience and bring them in.
Tim Burton's the one advantage for me because I like him, But
when they bring back the original cast, most of the original cast, except for the one guy, and then bringing in the new one. So,
all right, okay. Well, I was totally with you
until that one. I've ruined any goodwill that I've earned.
Yeah. This is now. I'm getting into the filet mignon. Yes. And my number 5. Surprisingly, a significant number of my films that are directed by women, and this is one of them, directed by Megan Park.
This is 2014. Dude, women are smart now.
And it's My Old Ass. And have you heard of it?
No.
Would you like something to eat? Huh?
It is. Think about
Sounds like it's ass.
no. Think about the setup pitching this. Your 18-year-old self meets your 39-year-old self during a drug trip kind of stuff. And
During a what?
Drug trip, shrooms.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
But just the opportunity that has, and maybe that just generates for me because I am, I just celebrated my 68th birthday, retiring there. No gifts, please, either.
You can send them my way. I need a new lawnmower.
You start thinking about it when you're my age about if I could go back and talk to my younger self.
I
what
think
would
about
I
that
say?
all the time. You know what the answer usually is? I would beat my butt.
Well, but you would have some credibility,
Mhm.
to say, don't do this, kind of
Say
thing.
it with a fist.
But there's something about that setup, and I didn't spend, a whole lot of time there. I tend to stay away from the trailers because sometimes they give away too much. But I'm on board for this.
Yeah, I don't know much about that. I like that concept too. They've done it before. There's one that they did with Matthew Perry, and it called 17 again, I believe.
Mhm.
And I kind of like that one. It's got what's his face in it, the really pretty looking guy from High School Musical. He's in it, but it's an interesting concept. So I think there's so much that you could do that you could get away with. It just depends on the execution of the material.
Yep.
And who's the director? Do you know?
Megan Park.
I don't know anything about that.
Yep. She's a woman director. And
Does she do anything that I've heard of? Up a new director?
no, a lot of these films are might be somewhat the weak link in some of these films. It may be the first directorial.
Oh yeah. My
debut.
first two are directorial debuts.
Yep.
So yeah, the Humanist Vampire Seeking Consenting Adult. That's a feature film debut for her. A couple more on here too.
Yep. All right.
So that was your number
5.
numero 4. All right, it's a trap, and it's from director M. Night Shyamalan, and it's called Trap. That is the one about with Josh Hartnett in it, and Allison Pill, a father and a daughter, attend a pop concert only to realize they've entered the center of a dark, sinister event. Releasing August 9th, and it's his first film since A Knock at the Cabin, which was one of your favorite films from last year, and it's a very good film, and I'm excited.
I'm sure you are too because you've seen the trailer for it at least 1,000 times because you can't go to the movies without seeing that trailer.
I've only seen that trailer once in the movie theater. Thank you very much.
We've been at least twice.
I've only seen it once in the theater.
And it wasn't like the last one that we saw.
That's the one I saw it.
We saw it before that.
Not me.
Well,
You're just your mind's failing
that
you.
could be too. So
You know that the pop star in the movie, that's Shyamalan's other daughter.
I did not know that.
Yep, she's like an actual singer and a pop star.
I did not know that. That family has got some talent.
Yeah, well, if you don't know, now you know.
I do know. Well, good. I had thought about that, and originally I couldn't make up my mind between that and Watchers, and then I saw Watchers, and I thought I'm gonna.
And it helped you make your mind.
It did.
Yeah.
Now, will I see it? I absolutely will. But in terms of my anticipation, that tends to be with Shyamalan's films is that I've been hurt too many times.
Well, it was the number. It might have been an honorable mention to begin with, and then we did the episode with him, and then I moved it way up the list to number 2. And then we saw The Watchers, and I moved it back down. So same thing. But I think it should still be a good movie. And it's lost a little bit of the luster just because, again, I've seen the trailer a lot online. So
yeah, I'll be there. Yeah, I'm gonna be there.
Too. Yeah,
All
I'll
right.
be there.
All right, my number 4, Janet Planet.
Dear Lord, help us.
Yes, you like A24.
They have the most crazy things. That's why.
Well, you might then. When I saw that and I saw it was A24, I mean, I wanted to see it beforehand.
Sometimes they'll slip through the cracks and I don't see them.
Well, it's written and directed. It's another female directed by Annie Baker. She is a Pulitzer Prize winning playwright.
Oh, okay.
So right off the bat, you're talking
sort of coming into screenwriting for the first time.
As far as I know, yes,
Okay, that's cool.
It's a coming of age story about a 11-year-old girl who spends summers. I did watch the trailer with it, and it just really shows. I love movies coming of age
Is it a genre
films.
film of any kind?
It's not horror, and I'd always thought from you that A24 was all.
No, but I think they're similar to Stephen King. even when they're not doing horror, they seem to have these fantastical, magical, eerie twists to them. So, you know.
Well, the trailer looks really good to me. It doesn't. I didn't know it was A24 when I saw the trailer, but it's just the pedigree of this alone. And then when I add A24, which I think every A24 thus far that you've ever taken me to or have seen, I thought, okay, they're not just churning out stuff to
even
money
when
grabs.
even when we've not thought they were amazing, like when we saw Midsummer, like we weren't like enthralled with that, but it wasn't a bad movie.
And it was different. It was unique. That's the thing. They're not churning out,
And that's why I love them.
formula. Yeah. So I'm hoping maybe you'll go because this sounds to me like it's a film, not a movie.
All right. We are on to number 3.
Yes.
If I just wasn't so sick and tired of waiting to see the other 2 movies on this list, this would be number 1 on my list, just sheerly from the trailer and what it looks like alone. And it is called Long Legs. It is Nicolas Cage coming out. Okay.
He hasn't had a movie released in the last 10 minutes.
I know. From actor turned director Oz Perkins, who I know you've seen. FBI agent Lee Harker is gifted a new recruit assigned to unsolved case of an elusive serial killer. As the case takes complex turns, unearthing evidence of the occult, Harker discovers a personal connection to the merciless killer and must race against time to stop him before he claims the lives of another innocent family. Released July 12th. Now that does nothing to explain the awesomeness that is Long Legs, one word. I'm not sure that the world is ready for this film. I think this movie will be the evil lurks, when evil lurks, where evil lurks of this year. I think this will be the movie that does that. And I challenge you to watch the trailer for this sucker and not get giddy with excitement.
I want to be giddy.
Like a schoolboy.
But I do. I kind of just, when I hear Nicolas Cage, I tend to just sort of move the other way. Although I know that he's got chops. He definitely does.
He's resurrected his career.
And he's just kind of, but maybe a little overexposed,
I think at this point, now that he's resurged, it's because he's been killing it.
Yeah. I wasn't a fan of Renfield. I didn't.
No, that's been probably his poorest performing and his biggest profile movie to date since he's made his resurgence.
What was the one? Maggie or
Mandy?
Mandy. I didn't particularly.
That was the one that put him back on the spot for a lot of people.
I
didn't particularly like the movie, but I like him in it.
Yeah. But as you describe it, and trailers don't lie.
It's got the girl in it from It Follows. So the main girl from that, the blonde girl, she's her and Nicolas Cage are the 2 main. And I'm telling you, man, it looks really good.
All right. I'll go see that with you. If you go see with me, my number 3, which is Thelma.
It was almost on my list.
Oh, really? I'm telling you, the setup on this, a 93-year-old action star.
See, right here.
I got you.
Thelma.
Yep. The trailer, it could be silly, but this is Richard Roundtree's last feature film. Okay. Shaft kind of stuff, and he's gone, and he's left us. But I liked it. This to me feels like Beekeeper with senior citizens. And I don't think you've seen Beekeeper or not.
No, I almost bought it. Oh, it was on sale, and you said that it was the best Jason Statham movie you've ever seen.
It is, and it's highly.
It's not. There's no way it's better than Snatch or Lock, Stock.
I want an entire franchise, Beekeeper franchise. When I saw it.
No, he's going to be too busy making Meg 3 and 4.
Oh, but anyway, I just think it's a delightful kind of thing. It could be either really, really good, or it can be a Rotten Tomatoes 17%. That's like, I think a lot of audience, younger people don't want to see 93-year-old people. And I hope it's not a cartoonish character making fun. I'm hoping that they play it straight and that she really is, as opposed to making fun of, oh, I've fallen, I can't get up kind of stuff. But I have high hopes for that.
I think it will outperform most of the films on my list, I have a feeling.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Numero dos.
Should we go back and talk more about Porgy and Bess?
Porky and Bass. But this one makes me want to do a video on the my top 7 favorite horror directors, because he might just be moving into it, and that is Maxine.
I saw the trailer. I'm right there with you.
The final film and director Ty West's horror trilogy starring Mia Goth and Elizabeth Debicki, 1980s Hollywood adult film star and aspiring actress Maxine Mink finally gets her break, but as a mysterious killer stalks the starlets of Hollywood, a trail of blood threatens to reveal her sinister past. July 5th. Guess who else is in it? Kevin Bacon.
Yes.
He plays the detective.
Hmm. And a very strange looking, the way he looks kind of thing. Yes, I saw the trailer more than once, and I thought, yeah, this looks really good. Kind of.
I really like
deal.
Mia Goth too. She would probably, if I did a Scream Queen movie, she'd have to move into that. And Ty West too. He just kills it in everything he does.
What else has he done?
Well, he did the other two. He did House of the Devil, which is that 1980s looking movie, which was his first. And there's another one in there. I can't remember what it is, but he did another one like You're Next or something else where it was like well received. But
Is this A24?
A24.
So I could only have one A24 movie on my list.
Not me.
And yes, and that's why I went
this
to-
could probably, when it's all said and done, this could be A24's best selling movie of all time. Could be, if they play their cards right.
Well, I'm there. Wasn't on my list, but I am.
I'll be there.
Yep, Yamo will be there.
Yamo.
All right. Number 2 for me, Daddy-O. It's Sean Penn and Dakota Johnson. Now,
Okay, I like her.
well, Madam Web.
Not in Madam Web.
I did not know this though. But she is the daughter of Don Johnson and Melanie Griffith. I didn't realize that. Did you?
No. Didn't.
This, if you watch the
I wish Don Johnson was my dad.
Why do you think I'm digging this goddamn hole?
hey.
Melanie Griffith, his mom wouldn't be too bad either.
Yeah. The entire film takes place in a cab ride.
Okay.
Sean Penn is the cab driver, and she is, and it really is. I love movies like 12 Angry Men, where it all takes place in a very limited.
Phone
It's
booth.
hard to keep the viewer's interest when you're not, changing that. And I'm glad that the trailer doesn't give away too much, but you can sort of see the give and take that they have as as he's driving her in this location, and how you sustain that kind of dramatic narrative in a film is really challenging. It is directed by Christy Hall, and which again, another female director, but I love him. I mean, I think he's one of the best actors alive, today. And so it'd be interesting to see what's going to happen with that. I hope it gets a big rollout. I don't know that people think of
won't.
that.
I don't think it will. It just
Yeah.
doesn't seem to me as something Hollywood the Machine would push.
Yeah.
But it does seem to me like it's one of those movies that could be come awards time, which is why another thing I said in that video last night. There's a movie called Ghostlight, which if I had to take a jump to right now, that's the movie that's going to win Best Picture.
Called Ghostlight.
Ghostlight. Yeah. Just I've never seen the movie, but just when I think it's a perfect score right now, Rotten TV.
Ghost Light.
100% on Rotten TV or Rotten Tomatoes right now. 100%.
And the sequel is Flashlight.
Mm-hmm. Don't ask me what the third one's about. All right.
All
Is
right.
that it?
That's it.
All right. Numero uno. And I've already stated this on a Wonderfest video, and dang it, it just needs to come out now. I said this last year in one of the first videos we ever did, and it's Borderlands. Damn it, where is it at? Can it please come out now? All right. Eli Roth, based on my favorite video game of all time, which is Borderlands. All right. It's got Kevin Hart, Jack Black, Cate Blanchett, Jamie Lee Curtis, and it's a post-apocalyptic world of mayhem filled with psychos and monsters and machine guns, and it's going to be awesome, even if it's probably not going to be very good. It's going to be like, what's that quote, that Shakespearean quote, full of sound and fury signifying nothing. That's what it's going to be. But I'll be there for it.
I remember when it was delayed and there was all kinds of insider rumors and kind of thing that a little part of you died during that. I remember you tried to be, it's but I could tell.
I just wanted to see it, man.
Yeah. It does nothing for me, and maybe it's because I'm just not, that's not the video games that I play. but it is definitely
Well, Barbie already got its movie.
wah wah wah. So, but you know what? Nothing would make the father in me feel better than you would go, and this was like a childhood moment. This was a moment with you. It's like Army of Darkness kind of stuff, and you just get giddy or have a popcorn moment with this and love it. And then you'd have a poster on your wall and t-shirts.
I already got a poster on my wall
I know,
above my couch.
and you'd have a t-shirt that you wore.
I'm still fingers crossed they kill Kevin Hart in the first 5 minutes.
I doubt that.
I highly doubt it
Yeah.
too.
All right. Well, I don't know that this is. I guess this might be something I'd get drugged to.
Well, I can take Cortland to see this if I have
Okay.
to.
Well, that's a good thing. So, because I would only go if I went to Rotten Tomatoes, our competitor's site, by the way, and it had like 99% critic score.
If I had to take a stab at this one, it's going to be a 40 to 50% critic score and a 70% audience score.
Okay. Well, my number one is based on.
Is it better than my number one, number two?
I think
The number
it's-
two that I took for number one?
Yes. It's based on my favorite video game, and it's Horizon by Kevin Costner.
I don't get it. There is a video game called Horizon.
There is?
Mm-hmm.
Well.
It's about dinosaurs that are made out of metal and robots. That's prehistoric. I don't know.
But that's what this movie is about, isn't it? No, I love Kevin Costner. I loved the Yellowstone.
Which one? Part one or part two?
This is chapter one.
Okay.
And I know that he got a huge standing ovation at Cannes. I think what I'm hearing is that that it's not, people aren't going, but they're not going to Furiosa, and they didn't, necessarily go to Kingdom Planet of the Apes. And I think Kingdom Planet of the Apes was a really good movie. I like him. I like what he did in Yellowstone. I love Dances with Wolves.
One of my favorites.
Yeah, it is long. I think there's something about the Western genre that resonates to me. We go through periods where you have war films that are really big, and then Western films and horror films.
Because Hollywood is the most unoriginal place on earth, and they can just copy things.
But they typically, we go through these periods where Westerns aren't hot anymore, and then somebody, he comes out with Unforgiven, Clint Eastwood is like, oh my, now they're hot again. I really do enjoy. I know you feel that way about horror films. It's like you would just seek out. I would seek out Westerns.
I love Westerns too. Absolutely.
Yeah. But this one, I just kind of, they say that, it is a long film, and I think he doesn't show up for the first hour, but that's okay.
That's what I've heard.
And, but originally, if we would have done this 5 months ago, I would have said Megalopolis would be my number one.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But now I think that this is going to be a much more accessible film, and I owe it to Kevin Costner to be there and put my money down and help support that film, because I've loved the movies that he is, everything from Field of Dreams to the one with the other baseball movie that he did. Oh my goodness, I just watched it the other day. Yeah, you can tell.
Bull Durham?
Yeah, Bull Durham. I like that. I love Robin Hood. Talk about classic.
Robin Hood, Prince of
lady.
Thieves,
Yeah.
man.
So Dances with Wolves. The football movie where
Draft Day.
Draft Day is one of my favorite films.
Still never seen it.
Oh man, it's good.
Yeah, still never seen it.
Yeah, it's really just a great.
I remember there's trailers that I see in the theaters that I see like, wow, that looks really good, and then for whatever reason, I just never see them. That's one of the movies I did that with.
I've seen it maybe 3-4 times. It gets better every time I see it, and I would think that you would love it. Now you know a whole lot more about how the inner workings of that. You pay attention to Draft Day. This is, for somebody that's on the outside of that, it was eye-opening, and it was made me feel good inside. And it's Cleveland, which I'm a Ohio boy right here, go Bucks, and so that helped exercise some good muscles. But I am there, Mr. Costner. I am there for you. I'm gonna pay twice, because I'm gonna obviously have to pay for his rear end, and sit
Tell me
there.
who paid for the last
and
movie. Ask.
bring Heather to this.
Who paid for the last movie?
You did. Thank you so much. Now tell them what we saw.
The Watchers.
Okay, because Madam Web was all sold out.
Yeah. We already saw Madam Web.
So summer. All right. So we think you need to grab a cold drink and an umbrella, a beach chair, and throw them in your car, go to the movies, and then go to the beach.
Yeah. I was going to say, what do you need the beach chairs for?
I guess you're right. Yeah. So we're anxious in your opinions. I'm sure, I suspect that we are not within the mainstream, that there's a whole lot of people out there.
I think if you had to ask the public, I think they would probably collectively pick Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
And we didn't even talk about it.
You're right. And I suspect that if people were to think the old guy, the movies, who wants to go see those kind of films? Maybe the exception of Beverly Hills Cop, but that's maybe for your generation. But the younger folks think, no.
They might not have a clue that is.
What that means. So
Eddie who?
I'm showing my age, but that's one of the beauties of this broadcast, is that we come at this from different generations, and we know our audience tend to skews more to your age, and but our goal is always to turn you on to something that you didn't know, you didn't think of, or like you just said, I've never seen Draft Day, and I'm heartily encouraging you. You've never seen Beekeeper. Go home and watch that now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just good stuff. And the same thing that maybe somebody out there will do a Daddy-O or there's another one I had on my list I just saw that was on my honorable mention, and it's Fancy Dance, and it's got Lily Gladstone, and it is a custody issue with a Native American child and white grandparents, and she's kind of hot right now.
Yeah,
kind of stuff.
See how she curtails that.
It's just. Again, I get tired of seeing the same thing, movies with the same tone, the same cutting, the same editing, the special effects. I don't want to eat the same thing every day. I want a varied diet. And that's sort of what we bring to this. We're bringing you a varied diet and hope that maybe something on here you didn't know, didn't hear of. I'm sure there's movies out there that you are anticipating that we've never, but please,
maybe him.
Please throw us your best ideas. We're passionate about movies.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, stay cool. We'll see you in the movies.
Kill me.